Movie Review, Dracula Untold, 2014. Dracula Untold 2014, directed by Gary Shore, is a dark fantasy action horror drama film that reimagines the origins of the legendary vampire, Dracula. Rather than the familiar bloodthirsty monster, the film portrays Dracula as a tragic hero, Vlad III the Impaler, played by Luke Evans, a man willing to sacrifice his humanity to save his kingdom and family from impending doom. While the story mixes historical elements with supernatural lore, it ultimately aims to humanize one of literature's most notorious villains. This reinterpretation brings a fresh perspective to the Dracula mythos, but not without its shortcomings. Set in the 15th century, Vlad III is a respected ruler and former warrior, now leading a peaceful life in his kingdom of Transylvania. However, when the Ottoman Empire demands 1,000 boys, including his son, to join their army, Vlad faces an impossible choice. To protect his people and family, he seeks the power of an ancient vampire living in a cave, turning himself into a creature of immense strength, but at the cost of a heavy curse. He must resist the overwhelming urge to drink human blood for 3 days, or remain a vampire forever. As Vlad embraces his newfound powers, he fights off the invading Ottoman forces, but he must also battle the growing darkness within him. The story becomes not just about warfare but about Vlad's internal struggle between the savior he wants to be and the monster he risks becoming. Dracula Untold 2014 offers a visually stunning, action-packed retelling of Dracula's origin story with a sympathetic twist. While the film's ambition is admirable, it grapples with balancing the tragic hero narrative and its supernatural elements. The movie's strength lies in its emotional core, but it struggles with pacing and underdeveloped characters outside of Vlad. Luke Evans shines as Vlad, bringing depth to a character who is torn between his love for his family and the monstrous nature of his new powers. Luke Evans successfully conveys the weight of Vlad's decisions, making the audience feel the internal torment of a man willing to risk everything to protect those he loves. His transformation from noble leader to a reluctant vampire is at the heart of the film and provides its most compelling moments. However, beyond Vlad, the supporting characters are less developed. Sarah Gadon plays Myrina, Vlad's wife, who serves as the emotional anchor of his decisions, but her role is fairly limited to that of a motivating figure. Dominic Cooper's portrayal of Mem 2, the antagonist, is menacing but lacks the complexity needed to create a memorable villain, leaving his character feeling more like a plot device than a true rival to Vlad. Visually, Dracula Untold 2014 is striking. The sweeping landscapes, Gothic castles, and dark forests create a moody, atmospheric setting that enhances the mythic tone of the story. The action sequences are where the film truly excels. Vlad's supernatural abilities make for some breathtaking moments, including his transformation into a swarm of bats and his superhuman speed and strength in battle. These scenes are fast-paced, energetic, and visually impressive, giving the film a dynamic edge. However, while the film delivers on action and aesthetics, it occasionally falls short in storytelling. The plot moves quickly, sometimes too fast, sacrificing character development and emotional depth for the sake of spectacle. The moral dilemmas Vlad faces are intriguing, but the film doesn't spend enough time exploring them, leaving the emotional impact somewhat muted. At its core, Dracula Untold 2014 is a story about sacrifice, the lengths a person will go to protect their loved ones, and the thin line between heroism and monstrosity. The film's themes are universal, even if its narrative focus is steeped in fantasy. Vlad's decision to embrace darkness in order to save his family and kingdom is central to the film. He knows the power comes with great cost, yet he willingly accepts it, demonstrating the lengths people will go to in desperate situations. This exploration of sacrifice is compelling, showing that even the noblest intentions can have dangerous consequences. The film explores how power can corrupt even the most well-intentioned individuals. Vlad's new abilities allow him to defend his people, but they also tempt him to lose control. His struggle to resist the urge to give in to the vampire's curse symbolizes the seductive nature of power, and how difficult it is to maintain one's humanity when faced with immense strength and immortality. Vlad's transformation into Dracula raises questions about the nature of heroism and villainy. While he is portrayed as a loving father and ruler, his violent actions blur the line between hero and monster. The film suggests that the capacity for darkness exists within everyone, and sometimes, the difference between a savior and a villain is simply the choices one makes. Another underlying theme is the idea of legacy. Vlad's decision to become a vampire is not just about the immediate protection of his kingdom but also about leaving a legacy. The film touches on the idea that immortality, while granting endless time, also isolates one from the very things that make life meaningful, such as human connection and love. The film teaches that even the most well-meaning decisions can lead to unintended consequences. Vlad's decision to become a vampire is driven by a desire to save his people, but in doing so, he risks becoming the very thing he fears. It's a reminder that every choice, especially those made in desperation, carries a price. Vlad's struggle to control his vampiric powers highlights the theme that power, especially immense power, must be handled responsibly. The film underscores that gaining strength without wisdom or restraint can lead to destruction, not only of others but also of oneself. One of the most profound lessons from the film is that good and evil are not always clear-cut. Vlad's actions are heroic in one sense but monstrous in another. This gray morality reminds us that even the best intentions can lead to dark outcomes if one isn't careful about the means they employ. Vlad's willingness to sacrifice his humanity for the greater good results in personal isolation, particularly when he becomes immortal. His journey reminds us that sacrifices, while sometimes necessary, can also come with great personal loss, especially when they push us away from the very things we seek to protect. Dracula Untold 2014 is an ambitious reimagining of the Dracula origin story, blending historical fantasy with action and emotional depth. While the film has its flaws, particularly in pacing and character development, it succeeds in humanizing the iconic villain and delivering a visually stunning, action-packed narrative. The themes of sacrifice, power, and the struggle between humanity and monstrosity provide deeper layers to the story, making it more than just a typical action film. For followers of dark fantasy and gothic action, Dracula Untold 2014 offers an engaging, if imperfect, ride into the legendary world of Dracula, with lessons on the costs of power and the complexities of heroism. Key lessons learned. Actions, no matter how well-intentioned, carry consequences. Power must be wielded responsibly, or it can lead to corruption. The line between hero and monster is often blurred. Sacrifice, while noble, can lead to personal isolation and loss.